Hello, my friends. So I started off this reading by asking, who is this reading for? And of course, how will you know that it's for you? So we have the Three of Swords, the Ten of Wands, the Knight of Cups. These indicate, the Three of Swords is mourning, grieving. There's been a loss, and, well, you have to work your way through the feelings. You can't just pretend it didn't happen or pretend that you don't feel anything and move on. It's not going to work, at least not anymore. Ten of Wands suggests you're feeling overburdened. You probably have a lot of responsibilities, and dealing with this emotional stuff is not helping. So you're feeling overwhelmed, and perhaps you're getting to the point where you're ready to let go of some of those wands, because chances are you really don't need to keep carrying all of them. Especially if some of them are guilt related. Then we have the Knight of Cups. This may be how you see yourself right now. So you are thinking about love, you are thinking about romance. Maybe you see yourself as a very successful lover. But you don't have a lot of backbone. You may not know that about yourself. And you're more of a dreamer than a doer. You may want to sit and think about that for a minute. Next we have the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords in reverse. Anytime you have one of the swords in reverse, you have dishonesty, perhaps corruption, instead of honesty, insight, and the good use of intellect. So, impulsiveness, perhaps being scattered, possibly ADHD, tendency to be aggressive and overbearing, or wild and reckless. Then we have the Emperor. The Emperor is pretty much the opposite of all of that. So the Emperor is someone who believes in order, who has control of himself, who is disciplined. This is the Emperor in the upright. So this is someone who cares deeply about the people that they are responsible for. They believe in order. They don't like chaos. And they are able to establish and maintain order. This is something the Knight of Swords definitely cannot do. The Knight of Cups can't do it either, because he's a dreamer, not a doer. So you have a lot of work ahead of you, basically, to become this Emperor, or the Divine Masculine, however you see it. So the Emperor, as well, is also about the physical aspects of the Divine Masculine. So being able to provide and protect, as well as establish and maintain order in a way that is healthy and benevolent to all of those involved. Next up, Three of Pentacles. The time to work with others, particularly at work, in a work setting. But there's something you want to work on. Oh, this is it. Interesting. So, Three of Pentacles is working with others. Six of Pentacles is reciprocity. Potentially working with perhaps a counselor, a therapist, a spiritual advisor, some sort of mentor. There's something that has you feeling beleaguered. something that is, you're trying to deal with it, and it's very, very difficult for you. Once again, we have we have another Pentacles card showing up. That would be the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is a beginning stage, a tending stage. You're planting your seeds. Now you've got, or you have planted your seeds, now you have to tend to them. You can't just move ahead quickly because the seeds aren't ready. The harvest is nowhere near ready. You have to be patient and tend to the garden. So weeding, watering, getting out there every day and doing the work. You're probably not too patient about that. And the Four of Wands is a community situation that is not joyous, not happy. Perhaps it's not healthy. Then we have the Five of Wands in the upright. The Five of Wands is usually time to practice. It's a struggle. I see it being closely connected to the Seven of Wands. Because the Seven of Wands is being brave and being strong and standing up for what it is you believe in or are trying to achieve. Even though there's lots of challenges. Probably, oh crap, your community landed under it. So you're changing and the people around you are not supportive of it. That's not unusual, depending on the types of changes. I did see the Devil at the bottom of the deck when the Seven of Wands came out. So you might be fighting addictions or bad habits, and that will create big changes in your community because they're used to you being the way you were, and here you are trying to change and become something better, something different, and that will change the dynamics of your family or community a great deal. So you're going to have to practice in the face of their resistance to what you are trying to achieve. And here we have the Strength card. So this says you can do it. This is the You Can Do It card. You are strong enough. You have what it takes within you to achieve miracles. You can do impossible things, whether you believe it now or not. Yes, you have a lot of naysayers around you, but that doesn't make them right. Don't let them fool you. And don't let them drag you back down. Remember the bucket of crabs. Yeah, all right. Right? The crabs drag. One of them tries to get out, is on the verge of getting out, and all the others gang up and drag them back down. That's the way I see your community right now. Sorry about that. I wish I had something more positive to say about them. In any case, you are dealing with addictions and bad habits because the Devil has come out. The good news is you had the Ace of Swords on the bottom, so you are gaining clarity on your situation. You're gaining clarity about your addictions or bad habits, and you're gaining clarity about your family situation or community situation, about what does and does not support you in your efforts to grow and change and heal. So you have the Knight of Wands, which is perhaps where you are really at. The Knight of Wands is passionate and brave. He does not have the staying power of the Knight of Pentacles, or the strength, perhaps, of the Knight of Swords in the upright, this honesty and clarity of the Knight of Swords in the upright. And you may have indulged in a lot of the negative aspects of the Knight of Wands, such as being unfaithful and dishonest and letting your passions rule you without any thought for the repercussions on yourself or others. But now it's in the upright. Perhaps you are learning to change. You're doing a lot of work, so that would make sense. Wow. Okay. I think this deck might be done because none of them are coming out in the upright anymore. Let's see if there's any other messages for you somewhere else. How about healing messages for you? We'll try the Herbal Tarot deck. Healing messages. You are very much a knight. You've got 3 knights coming out. This is sort of good news because you're working your way through all of the suits, or at least 3 of them. I haven't seen the Pentacles come out. Pentacles Knight would be a lot more patient than you are, I think. So perhaps that's something you need to work on. Huh, you have 3 of Pentacles in reverse. That's interesting. So perhaps now is not the time to work with others. Or at least you need to be more careful about which others you are choosing to work with. Although this deck is Michael Tierra's deck, that's what this one is. And he tends to take a slightly different view on a lot of things, which I may or may not pay attention to. Are you ready for change? Are you willing to change? Well, the Lovers came out for you. And they're very naked. Alright, so I don't have anything big enough to cover them. But here you go. You got the Lovers, which is about making hard choices, as well as about soul connections, very difficult romantic connections, challenging ones that make you grow. So we'll put that there just to remember it. Yeah, so 3 of Pentacles. I want to take a look at that. In reverse. It's very interesting given that you started out with the 3 of Pentacles in the upright. So you are supposed to be working on something with others. And I do think it's on your healing journey. In spite of the Pentacles usually referring to work. So Gentian, right here, it's what's commonly called a digestive bitter. It does help your digestion, and it is, of course, bitter. So digestion is about assimilating You can think of it as skills. And this says you need to deepen your concentration and understanding as a foundation to developing your talents. Reverse meanings: weakness and irritation from too much self-abuse. And you have clearly been indulging in a lot of self-abuse. So yeah. Oh, we'll take a look at what he has to say about lovers as well. Although usually in a lover's connection, the lover's card is a little more difficult to interpret. Yeah, it just says the usual things about desire, relationship, working things out. Actually, usually that does not come up for lovers. Also, a tendency towards self-centeredness. That's different. And a tendency to anger and stress. All right. So those are some things for you to work on. Let's see. Anything specific? I mean, you could look at herbs. Oops, am I holding this upside down? I am. Okay. Horsetail. 5 of Cups. Oh, yes. So, 5 of Cups. You're not seeing something, a gift from the universe, probably. You're not seeing what you have. You're not appreciating what you have. You need to practice gratitude and meditation. Potentially prayer, if that's something that works for you. Sorry. Yes, preoccupied with loss. At the expense of recognition of one's true assets and powers. Negativity. The idea that it isn't real unless it hurts. Oh, that's weird. That's very weird. Do you really believe that? The idea that it isn't real unless it hurts? Do you believe that life is pain? Wow. Okay. There is beauty and love and wonderful things that aren't painful all around you. And you would definitely benefit from learning to see and appreciate those things. So, perhaps just taking a walk in nature. I actually find that a very good way to meditate. Meditation doesn't have to be sitting on your butt and contemplating your navel or staring at a candle flame or whatever. You can practice walking meditation, for example. And nature, of course, is full of beauty. And definitely an antidote to pain in many situations. So, that seems to be your advice. Don't be so hard on yourself. Meditate, be grateful. Learn to see the beauty in things. And let go of that negativity. I wish you all the best. I'm sure you'll get there.